For the remonstrances, Representative Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning we had a debate on a pair of bills calling on Congress to do the work of addressing centuries of policies and practices that have harmed Black and brown communities and that are still harming these communities today. We certainly debate the value of sending messages to Congress. Are they even listening? But still, I was astonished at some of the comments I heard today, and I need to respond. I was taken aback in the moment, even a little nauseated, but I've had time to collect my thoughts. What we heard this morning from multiple speakers was an erasure of the very real, very horrific experience that generations of Black, Indigenous, people of color families have experienced. In the American South, it started with hundreds of years when the enslavement of humans was legal, but racism and its violence is not contained by time or geography. Yesterday, we heard in a speech from the majority leader about the massacre that took place in Tulsa in what is known as Black Wall Street. That wasn't an isolated incident. There were white mobs attacking Black individuals and communities across the nation. Lynchings were widespread and were often done with the blessing, even at the hands of law enforcement and local government leaders. Unfortunately, this work continues. Colleagues, the Oregon Historical Society, led by Republican Carrie Timchuk, has cataloged the history of racism in Oregon. I highly recommend you spend some time with their research. Maybe you didn't know that Oregon's Constitution banned Black people from living here. Maybe you didn't know that people of color were banned from owning land. Maybe you didn't know about the rebirth of the KKK in Oregon, which pushed for non-unanimous jury verdicts, just recently overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. Maybe you didn't know about the exclusion zones and redlining that limited where Black people could live. Maybe you didn't know that all of these policies and many, many more have conspired to rob Black families of life and prosperity, and they are rooted in slavery. I consider slavery as the first irrevocable injustice our country inflicted on Black Americans, from which all further injustices have followed. The injustice of not being able to own land, an important source of intergenerational wealth among white Americans, the injustice of Black 4-year-olds being expelled today from preschools at several-fold higher rates, dealing a blow to the young child that reverberates throughout their lifetime. The list goes on. But now you know, and to paraphrase my colleague Rep. Hudson, what are you going to do about it? I'm here to do something about it and not to pretend away our history and its proven influence on our present. Thank you.